Hello guys, welcome to the channel H2O, the A to Z of chemistry. Today we are going to begin with lecture 6 from the course S block elements, but make sure you watch the previous ones before doing this one. So we have been talking about the group 1 elements, that is the alkali metals, and in that we are talking about the chemical properties of these metals. And well, we are today therefore on to lecture number 3 from the chemical properties. And in today's lecture, well, we are going to discuss a very important property of these elements, and that is the solubility of the alkali metals in liquid ammonia. Well, this is going to be a very important concept, because if you look at the previous year examination question, be it JEE Mains, Advanced, NEET or AIMS examination, you will find a question coming up from this topic. So this is a very important concept, and I want you to understand small little details of this concept. So if anything comes in the examination, each and everything is crystal clear to you and you can answer your question without fail and gets full marks in that. So I am Dr. Ritu Johar, your educator from the channel, and I hope you're going to enjoy your learning with me. So let us begin our learning with all the reactions that we have learned in lecture number 4 and lecture number 5. So this is my Have an Edge section for you people, which is going to be very helpful to you when you are going to be just revising for your examination. So just a quick look at all of this and you are going to revise all the reactions. So first of all, in lecture number 4, you learned the reaction of the alkali metals with water, forming the metal hydroxide. Along with that, hydrogen is formed. Then you learned about the reaction with oxygen in limited supply. The alkali metals, they are going to react with oxygen to form the corresponding oxide. And this is going to be true for all the alkali metals. But when it is going to be excess of oxygen, lithium is going to form oxide, sodium is going to form peroxide, potassium, rubidium, cesium, they will be forming the superoxides. And when it is going to be the reaction of the alkali metals with air, again it is going to be excess of oxygen present in air. So all these products, they will be formed. And then if it is going to be reaction with air along with oxygen, nitrogen is also present. And here what you have to remember is lithium on reaction with nitrogen of the air is going to form lithium nitride. Sodium can react with nitrogen, but it will be only under the presence of a high pressure copper oxide presence, where it is not going to form the nitride, but it is going to form sodium azide. Okay, so this is what we have learned. The rest of the metals, they are not going to react with the nitrogen. And another thing that you have to remember, which is not written over here, is going to be that in air there is also moisture that is going to be present. And when it is moisture present, all of these oxides, they can further react with water to form the corresponding hydroxide. Okay, so as far as lecture number 4, that is what we learned. And then lecture number 5, that is the last lecture, we talked about the reaction of the alkali metals with hydrogen forming the corresponding hydrides. All these hydrides, they are ionic salt-like hydrides, and this was a lecture recap of what we learned in the ionic hydrides when we were discussing hydrogen and its compounds. A few reactions I have also made you see, and which is going to be very helpful in your learning when you will be learning the group 13 elements, the boron family. All right. Then we learned about the reaction with phosphorus, we learned about with the antimony, we learned about with arsenic. So all of these similar reactions, phosphorus forming phosphides and arsenic forming arsenides and antimony forming stibnites. And then we learned about sulfur, selenium and tellurium forming the corresponding ides. All ides, they are binary compounds. Then we learned about, very importantly, the reaction of the alkali metals with the halogens, with fluorine forming fluorides, with chlorine, chlorides, bromine, bromides, and iodine, iodides. But here what was very important was the certain trends that you learned for the corresponding alkali metal halides that were formed. So we learned about the enthalpy of formation for these, the lattice energy trends for these. So everything that we have learned in the last lecture, very important. And then finally we come up to this last reaction that we are going to learn today. metals when they are going to react with ammonia, when we are going to heat the mixture, well, what we will be seeing is the formation of the amides. But this is not what you have to just simply learn for over here. There is a lot of understanding that is going to be required. So let us begin the learning of the solubility of the alkali metals in ammonia and how this reaction is also going to take place. So we have the solubility of the alkali metals in ammonia, and as I've already told you, this is a very important thing that you have to learn for this portion of the alkali metals. Alright, so many questions coming here, so please understand each and everything very well. So now we have first of all what to learn. Well, alkali metals that dissolve in liquid ammonia giving deep blue solutions which are conducting in nature. So what happens is that when we are going to put the alkali metal in ammonia, it is going to combine with X plus Y molecules of ammonia to give M positive NH3X and E negative NH3Y. So E negative, this is the electron. So M positive and electrons, they are formed by the loss of electron by the M atoms, right? So the alkali metal, this is getting broken up into the cation and along with that the electrons, and these they are getting ammoniated. X molecules of ammonia associating with M positive and Y molecules of ammonia getting associated with the electrons. So this we call as the ammoniated cation and this we call as the ammoniated electrons. Now these ammoniated electrons, which we also call as the solvated electrons, they are free electrons and they can absorb energy in the visible region of light and they impart blue color to the solution. Alright, and these solutions, they are good conductors, they are paramagnetic, and on standing they slowly liberate hydrogen, resulting in the formation of amide. So what is this meaning? Well, what this means is that we had the ammoniated cation. So AM over here, this is standing in short for a solution in ammonia. Just like we have solution in water, we are having a solution in ammonia. I'm just going to talk more about this just now. You will have an understanding of each and everything. So this we have as M positive ions plus the electrons plus ammonia. This is going to now on long standing, or when we are going to heat the solution of the metal in ammonia, what is going to be formed is the corresponding alkali metal amide, and along with that hydrogen gas is going to be evolved. And then if we have the concentrated solution, this is going to happen when it is going to be a dilute solution. What does a dilute solution mean? When the concentration of the alkali metal in ammonia is going to be less. And when the concentration of the alkali metal in ammonia is going to be more, we will be calling it as a concentrated solution. So the concentrated solution, this does not have a blue color, but this has a bronze color with metallic luster, and now this becomes diamagnetic. Now this is what has been given in the NCERT textbook, and obviously what is given in the NCERT textbook you have to learn. But are you just going to mug up all of this? No, not at all. So we are going to understand each and everything in such a manner now that you will not have to mug up anything. Let me help you to learn all of this. So to understand the solubility of the alkali metals in liquid ammonia, there are two things that you have to understand over here. First of all, the alkali metal, this is being put into the ammonia liquid. Alright, so M plus X plus Y ammonia, this is giving us M positive NH3X and E negative, that is the electron, with NH3Y. So you have to understand what this X and Y mean over here. Why this M positive NH3X we have written and why E negative NH3Y we have written. Yes, you can mug it up also, but if you understand it, well, you will never forget it. That is the whole point that I have, to make you understand things so that you can remember them. You just do not have them mugged up, because there are so many things that you have to remember. The ones that you understand, you will definitely remember. Okay. Fine. So now the next thing that you have to understand is over here that when we are putting the metal in the liquid ammonia, well, this metal, this is going to be the solute, and liquid ammonia, this is acting as the solvent. There is no water over here. Okay, so the solvent is ammonia. Okay, I hope this is clear. All right. Now we have the next reaction that you have to study, that M positive Am plus electron plus NH3. This will be giving us MnH2 plus half hydrogen. So hydrogen is going to be evolved in the process. So what does this Am stand over here? Well, this Am stands over here, solution in ammonia. Just like when we are going to put the alkali metal in water, we will be having the alkali metal put into water, right? So here now we have the alkali metal put in the liquid ammonia, and we can better correlate because this is a solution that is being formed. Well, in this case there is no actually reaction taking place. Okay, so it would be just a solution, just like if I put some sugar into water, so I will be getting a sugar solution. So here in the first reaction, what you will be seeing, what you see it as a reaction over here, well, this is actually nothing but the alkali metal dissolving, you can say, in ammonia, forming a solution in ammonia, just like we have sugar being put into water forming a sugar solution. So we can correlate that. Yes, this is over here a reaction that is taking place. Okay. So we have here M positive Am, which denotes that we have the cations in the solution in ammonia. These, along with that electrons which are going to be present, they will be reacting with ammonia to form the amide MnH2, and along with that hydrogen will be evolved. Yes, this is a reaction that is taking place. Okay, so these two things we will be understanding. First thing that we will understand is this reaction, how it takes place, and then I will be able to explain you what over here is happening in a better way. Okay, so we are going to compare this to a very known reaction of ours, that is alkali metal reacts with water to produce metal hydroxide, and along with that hydrogen is getting evolved. Okay, so if you understand this reaction, well, understanding this reaction is not at all difficult, only you have to understand how they are correlated. All right. Now, when we were studying about lecture number 4, when we did this reaction, the alkali metals reacting with water, well, we were talking about that lithium, this has a high electrode potential, and it has a high hydration energy. In spite of that, it is less reactive with water. So there I give you few steps to understand what is happening when the alkali metal is reacting with water. So I'm going to just repeat those things again, but I would really recommend you, please, if you've not watched lecture number 4, do watch that so that you have a clear understanding. We are at the same level of understanding, because what I've taught, well, I have already taught. So if you have studied that, it is going to be more easy for you to understand this now. Okay, but what is happening according to the Hess law, we are going to break this reaction into a few steps. So first of all, we have the alkali metal, which is going to act as the solute, and water, this is going to act as the solvent, and here we will be able to therefore compare with the alkali metal being put in ammonia, where alkali metal will be the solute and instead of water, ammonia will be the solvent. Okay, so now what is going to happen over here? First of all, we have the alkali metal, which is a solid. So we will have to make the breaking of the metallic bonds so that the metal atoms, they can separate out. So we will be supplying some heat, which will be the heat of atomization or the heat of sublimation, because solid directly getting converted into a gas, and we will be getting the isolated gaseous atoms. Now from the isolated gaseous atoms, we are going to again supply some heat to ionize the metal atoms. So that is going to be M positive gaseous ions formed, and along with that electrons are going to be released. Okay, now this M positive gaseous atoms, gaseous ions, now they are getting interacting with water, right? And interaction with water is going to result in the formation of the hydrated metal ions. Now I hope you again remember, I gave you a diagram also for that. I have not put that over here, but you understand that we have M positive. So this is a positive charge. Water, this is a dipole. So we will be having this way. There is going to be a partial negative charge on oxygen, a partial positive charge on hydrogen. Sorry, this will be hydrogen. And then these two, they are going to get attracted. So it is going to be an ion dipole interaction taking place. And this way there are going to be many water molecules which are going to get surrounding the alkali metal ion. Okay. So this is how this gets hydrated. Okay, or I can say that how this gets solvated by the water molecules, right? So now I can just rewrite this reaction as that we have the metal as a solid, we put this into water, right? And what we got was M positive aqueous. And here I have put this X because I do not know how many water molecules there are. Either I can write it as aqueous or I can write as H2OX, right? So there are some number of water molecules which are surrounding the M positive ion. So now can you correlate this to M positive NH3X, that we had the cation formed from the M, okay, and now this M positive, this is getting solvated by ammonia molecules. How many ammonia molecules we do not know, so we have written this X over here. Just like we are doing this for water, how many water molecules we do not know, so we can write it as X over here. Is this clear now? This part is understood what is happening. So similar is going to be here also. M positive AM means that this is going to get solvated by the ammonia molecules. Okay, now along with that, what was produced, there were some electrons also being released while during the formation of M positive, so we get the electron also. Okay, and along with that, what is happening, which we did not discuss, was that water, this gets self ionized into OH ions and H positive ions. So this is what all is present in the when we are putting the alkali metal in ammonia. And now you can therefore understand that therefore the complete reaction, we can just rewrite it as that we had the alkali metal being put in water. What happened was, first of all, the alkali metal cations were formed, right? And they got hydrated with the water molecules. They got hydrated with X number of water molecules. Along with that, electrons were produced. And along with that, there was the ionization of water into H ions and OH ions, right? So now these OH ions, they are negative, the M positive, they are the cations. So this is what we have as MOH, that is the alkali metal hydroxide. But whenever the alkali metal hydroxide is going to be in solution in water, it is always going to be found in the ionized state because this is a very strong base. So that is why we see them as M positive hydrated ions and OH negative. Now what happens to these electrons? Well, electron, this is a negative charge, right? So anytime a charge, this is an unstable species, so it tries to neutralize itself. So what is happening is that this electron suddenly finds that there is some H positive also present. This is a positive, this is a negative. Well, they get attracted towards one another. What will be formed? It will be hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom combining with another hydrogen atom to gain stability, it is going to be forming the hydrogen molecule, right? So in the process, hydrogen is going to be evolved, and along with that, metal hydroxide is being formed, right? So this now reaction, first of all, you understand this one. Okay, so this is complete reaction. And now I think even if you want to forget, first of all, the reaction of alkali metal with water forming what, you will always remember this. And if you remember this, and if I connect this to this and then to this, obviously you will be remembering this also. So let us make that connection now. So now I have just put this all, the reaction of the alkali metal with water, into the small sized letters so that I have more space to explain you what I have to explain in relation to the alkali metal solubility in ammonia. So to explain this, what is the reaction that I have to ultimately get you to? Well, this is what you have to understand. Something now you understand this is that this M positive, this has got solvated by the ammonia molecules. Okay. But let us just go and compare it step by step with this reaction that we have just now learned. So first of all, we have the metal as a solid. We are breaking those metallic bonds, and the metal atoms, now they are in the gaseous state. When they are in the gaseous state, well, we can supply energy to ionize them. So we will be getting M positive gaseous, and along with that electrons are going to be liberated. Okay. Now, this is happening in the solution where the solvent is ammonia instead of water. So therefore, what is going to happen is, again, we have M positive and we have ammonia also to be a dipole, right? So this is going to be a negative charge. This will be a partial positive charge, partial positive charge, partial positive charge. So these two also, they get attracted, and what we will be seeing is that surrounding the metal ion, there are going to be a lot number of ammonia molecules. I'll just now show you the diagram also for this so that you can remember this always. So we will be having now the ammoniated cation. Okay, so now you understand what do we mean by ammoniated cation. It is just like the hydrated cation, and here this X is representing that there are going to be some number of ammonia molecules which will be surrounding the M positive ion. Okay, now just like we have water getting ionized into OH ions and H positive ions, we can also have NH3 undergoing self-ionization to form NH2 negative and H positive. The only difference is going to be that water undergoes self-ionization very fast, whereas the self-ionization of ammonia is very much less as compared to water. Okay, so what you can understand this in simple terms is that we have water, okay, H positive and OH negative. So there is going to be some K1 value over here, the equilibrium constant, and for NH3 there is going to be some equilibrium constant K2 where we will be having H positive and NH2 negative. And this K1, this is far greater than K2, and therefore we see that the self-ionization of ammonia is quite less as compared to water. It is so less that it is going to be either ionizing if it is going to be supplied some heat, or it is going to be a prolonged standing of the solution of the alkali metal in ammonia when this ammonia is going to get ionized into NH2 negative and H positive. Okay, I hope this is clear, that this is not going to be just that you are putting alkali metal into the ammonia and ammonia is going to get ionized into NH2 negative and H positive. That will not be taking place. It will be only on prolonged keeping, or it will be on heating the solution of alkali metal in ammonia, that it is going to get ionized into NH2 negative and H positive. But supposedly, just now let us take that there has been some prolonged standing, or it is we have heated the solution. So what is going to be happening at that time, because we have to understand this reaction also. Okay, so then what we will be having is that we had put the alkali metal in the ammonia, right? And when we had put alkali metal in ammonia, what we got was the ammoniated cation. Along with that, electrons were produced, and now the ammonia, this has ionized into NH2 negative and H positive. So as a result, what are you going to get is MnH2, because M positive, this is going to combine with NH2 negative, just like we did M and combining it with OH negative to form MOH. Now here we have M positive combining with NH2 negative to give us MnH2. So this is going to be the alkali metal amide that we will be getting. Here also in this reaction, hydrogen was evolved. Here also in this reaction, hydrogen is getting evolved, because these electrons, they find the H positive ions, they combine with it to form hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom combines with another hydrogen atom to gain more stability, and therefore we get the hydrogen molecule. So now you understand this reaction, which was the second one which we had. Now we go back to this one, which you had to be which we started with, the understanding. Okay, so now just consider over here that this is a freshly made solution of alkali metal in ammonia. This is not getting heated. This is not on a prolonged keeping just you had put the alkali metal in ammonia. Okay, at that time ammonia is not getting ionized into NH2 negative and H positive. So what will happen to these electrons? They are negatively charged, right? And they will not get these H positive also, so that they can combine to form hydrogen. So what do these electrons do? Well, they do want to gain stability. They do want to neutralize the charge on them. So what they do is that they also, in search here and there for stability, they get involved with an interaction with the ammonia molecule. Okay. This was negative charge and hydrogen had a partial positive charge. So this now they develop an interaction between them. The electron, this is negatively charged. Hydrogen of ammonia, this is positively charged, and therefore there are going to be lot many molecules of ammonia which are going to surround the electron also when we have just put the alkali metal in ammonia, and hence we have now these as ammoniated electrons. Just like we had the ammoniated cation, now we have the ammoniated electrons, and how many ammonia molecules they are surrounding the electron we do not know. So we have put it as a Y, because this number of ammonia molecules and this number of ammonia molecules, they may not be the same, right? And because they may not be the same, that is why we have put an X and a Y, and the sum of X and Y, this is going to be the total number of ammonia molecules which are present in the solution. So now I hope you first of all understand this. Yes? Okay, very good. Now let me show you the diagrams for this, and that will increase your understanding much better. So this is going to be the total reaction as far as M positive plus electron plus NH3 forming NH2 plus half electron. Okay. So this is the first diagram that we had put the alkali metal in the ammonia. So what happens is that the cation was formed, and the cation formed this got ammoniated by the ammonia molecules. So you can see the cation to be the alkali metal, that is sodium, and around it you are seeing so many ammonia molecules. So this is going to be what? This will be Na positive, NH3, count the number or just put an X. So this will be what? This is going to be the ammoniated cation. Okay, that is formed when you have put the alkali metal in ammonia, which is in the liquid state. And what about the electrons? What is happening to the electrons? Let us see that also. So here now the black one in the center, this is the electron over here, and now this electron, this is negatively charged, so it is getting attracted by the hydrogens of the ammonia, and therefore this is also getting ammoniated. How many number of ammonia molecules we do not know. So what we get is we get ammoniated electron. So that is going to be E negative NH3Y. And this is going to be M positive NH3X. Right? And these two, this how have we got? We have got this from M plus NH3. And how many molecules of NH3 were present? X and Y. So this is the complete reaction. Now, is it very easy for you people? Yes, it is. Now, there is one more thing which is written down, as you can see. So let us understand that also, which I want you to understand very well. Okay. So what you can see over here is that the sodium ion, this was larger in size, but the electron, this is very small in size. Okay. So when we are going to have a solution of alkali metal in ammonia, the electron, this is getting ammoniated. When this is getting ammoniated, it is getting surrounded by big large ammonia molecules. Okay, and as a result there is large space which this electron is now occupying. This is the because this was small, the ammonia molecule surrounding it, well, here is a large void that you can see over here. So an electron, a large void around it, and then ammonia molecules. Another electron, large void around it, and ammonia molecules. So what will be happening is that if you compare the volume of the solute plus the volume of the solvent separately and the volume of the solution, well, you will find that the volume occupied by the solution is going to be larger because the presence of these voids, right? And if the volume is going to be large, well, the density is going to be less. Okay, so we have the metal solution having a larger volume and lesser density than the sum of the volume occupied by the solvent and the solute. Why? Please, I hope you now understand. This is because of the presence of the ammoniated electrons in cavities formed by the electronic polarization between the electrons and the NH3 molecules, and these NH3 molecules, they are getting stabilized by the presence of hydrogen bonds between the ammonia molecules. So there are going to be hydrogen bonds also present in between the ammonia molecules, so they are also stabilized because of the presence of that hydrogen molecules. They are not going to drift away from the electron. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now the understanding of how the solution of alkali metal in ammonia is getting formed, you now understand the terms X and Y, what is happening. Okay, so please do put that in the comment section. I am taking a lot of effort to explain you each everything. Otherwise, it was just 4-5 lines in the NCERT textbook, but you have to mug them up. I do not want you to do that. I want you to understand things. So I hope now you understand what is written over here. Now it is not Latin and Greek. It is very easy for you people to remember. And you also know that now this, we have E negative NH3Y to be the ammoniated electrons, and these electrons, they are free electrons, but on long standing what we will be having is amide formation, and during the formation of the amide along with that hydrogen being evolved, now we do not have any free electrons and free electrons not going to be present. Again, the properties are going to be different of the solution in the liquid ammonia in these two cases. So what you will find is that the solvated ammoniated electrons, they absorb energy in the visible region of light. They impart blue color to the solution for this solution. Okay, just the freshly prepared liquid ammonia alkali metal solution. This has ammoniated free electrons capable of absorbing energy, releasing energy, absorbing energy, releasing energy, and because they are doing that in the visible portion of light, so we will be seeing blue color. And again, because they are free electrons present, and free electrons, they are responsible for good conducting properties. They are responsible for the paramagnetic behavior of the solution. So this is what you can remember. Another thing that you can remember is that electrons, if these are free electrons, they will be gained by some other thing, right? When these electrons, they will be gained by some other substance, well, these electrons, they are going to be imparting reducing properties to this solution, right? Because free electrons gained by another substance, for gaining of electrons, they are going to cause what? Reduction. Okay, so they will be having reducing properties. So the reducing power of the alkali metal in ammonia, this is going to be greater than the reducing power of the alkali metal in water, because water, this is a stronger oxidizing agent than ammonia. So if we have the solution of the alkali metal in ammonia and make this to react with water, well, what we find is that hydrogen is going to get evolved from water. Okay. So that also shows us that water, this is a stronger oxidizing agent than ammonia, and the reducing power is going to be greater in the ammonia solution. So the next thing that you have to understand over here is that the concentrated solution, instead of the blue color, now this has a bronze color with metallic luster, and this becomes diamagnetic. Why is this happening so? So here please do remember that the solubility in liquid ammonia, this is going to be in accordance with the concentration of the solution. The properties, they are going to slightly vary. Now, why do they vary? That is obviously what we have to understand and not cram up. All right. So here let us understand that in this reaction, you all now know that we have ammoniated electrons being formed. And when are these formed? That is what you have to understand. So first we have a dilute solution. So it is going to be, according to the data that is given, it is going to be a solution which will be having a concentration less than 1 molar. What this means is that in a dilute solution, the amount of alkali metal in comparison to liquid ammonia, this is less. All right, and in the concentrated solution, the amount of alkali metal in the same amount of liquid ammonia, that will be more. Okay, and if it is going to be a 1 molar to 3 molar solution, it is going to be the properties in between these two solutions, a dilute solution and a concentrated solution. A concentrated solution, we will be taking it as more than 3 molar. Okay, so in case we have a dilute solution, this is what you will be seeing, the presence of the ammoniated electrons. Okay, so there are going to be present free electrons. But when we are going to increase the concentration, what will happen is that supposedly we have this container, in this we have electrons, because the number of atoms they are, well, they are going to be able to form cations and release electrons into the solution. Okay, so when we are going to have some amount of metal, well, these are the electrons supposedly present. Okay, but when we are going to increase the amount of the alkali metal, the number of electrons and the number of cations, that will also be increasing in the solution. And then there is going to be a time that will be coming that the electrons which were negatively charged, initially they were trying to move away from each other, because like charges, they repel each other. But then when the concentration is increasing, they will not be having much space to move away. The repulsions between them, they will start increasing as the concentration will increase. So now what do they do to minimize those repulsions? But what they will be doing is they will be orienting themselves in an opposite spin. They will start pairing up. Okay. So the number of unpaired electrons, or you can say the number of free electrons, that will decrease as the pairing of the electrons, this will start increasing. And in the concentrated solution, well, all the electrons that we'll have, well, they will be pairing up. So we will not be having any unpaired electrons. No unpaired electrons means now the properties from the paramagnetic behavior will be shifting to the diamagnetic behavior, because of the absence of the unpaired electrons, or you can say because of the pairing of the electrons which were free, but they wanted to minimize the repulsions. They had no space to go away from each other, so they started pairing up. Okay, so in between 1 molar to 3 molar, because there will be certain unpaired electrons, there will be certain paired up electrons, so we will be still having paramagnetic properties. So in the dilute solution, according to the number of the electrons that were present, we had a blue color, and in the concentrated solution, according to the electrons that we have, well, the amount of energy that is being absorbed, this has become different, so we see a bronze color. And in between 1 molar to 3 molar, what we see is the bronze color, this floats over the blue color solution. Okay, I hope now this is clear. Okay, next we move on to the conductivity. What happens to the conductivity as the concentration increases? So that is also what you should understand. Here what we find is in the dilute solution, it is a very good conductor. But in the concentrated solution, the conductivity, this increases even much more better than a dilute solution. So now how do you understand this? How do you explain this? Because here we were saying that the conductivity is because of the unpaired electrons, and here now there are no unpaired electrons. In fact, the solution has become diamagnetic, but even then we are saying that the conductivity is much more than compared to the dilute solution. Why does this happen? So what you have to understand is that in case of a dilute solution, we had the metal existing as M positive NH3X, and there were free electrons. Those free electrons, they were responsible for the conductivity. Okay, then as we increase the concentration, what happened was that the conductivity is going to decrease. First of all, the conductivity will decrease as the pairing of electrons will start. But then it will reach up to some low. Okay, so first of all, the conductivity was increasing as we increase the concentration. Then when the pairing started, the conductivity started decreasing as the number of electrons getting paired up was increasing. Okay, but then after some time, what we found was that the conductivity, this increased and went up to an abnormal high. Okay, it was such high that we could compare it with the conductivity with the actual metal. So what has happened over here is, in case when the pairing start, the metal, this first started, the metal atoms also, they started forming metallic bonds between them. Okay, and then as the concentration further increased, the number of bonds between the metal atoms that started increasing, more number of metallic bonds were being formed, right? So you all know that the metallic bonds, they are just like, we have a sea of electrons into which we have the cations, right? And there are metallic bonds present. So this is what is happening over here in the concentrated solution. We are having metal ion clusters. The properties become as if it was like a metal only, and therefore we see that the conductivity also increases to a level that we see in the metal itself. Okay, so I hope you now understand that the conductivity in the dilute solution is good because of the presence of the ammoniated free electrons, but in the concentrated solution, even though it is diamagnetic in nature, but there is much more conductivity because now the solution, this is showing metallic properties, and that is why we see the metallic luster also in the concentrated solution. Okay, so I hope the whole concept now this is clear to you. There can be nothing asked beyond this in your examination, and with this understanding you will not be able to forget anything also. So that brings to the end of this discussion, and well, now it is testing time. So let us see the lecture review questions, and you all know that unless you put your answers in the comment section, I am not going to give you the correct answers to these questions. Right, so let us look at question number 1. Question number 1 says that sodium metal on dissolution in liquid ammonia, this gives deep blue coloration due to the formation of ammoniated electrons, sodamide sodium ammonium complex, sodium ion ammonia complex, and this is a JEE Mains 2019 question. The next question, this is a AIMS 2003 question on dissolving moderate amount of sodium metal in liquid ammonia at low temperature. Which one of the following does not occur? Blue colored solution is obtained. Sodium ions, they are formed in the solution. Liquid ammonia, this becomes a good conductor of electricity. Liquid ammonia remains diamagnetic. All right, so I am trying to give you different questions which have been coming up from this topic. Well, the questions which were repeated or having just same content but a different language, I am not putting those questions because I want you to see a different type of questions, not a repetition of the same questions. So the next question that I have for you, and please do remember when you're going to put your answers that this is going to be multi-correct. There is going to be more than one option that is going to be correct over here. This is very important for the students who are appearing for JEE Advanced, that you have that type of preparation also for your examination. So the statements given below pertain to a solution of an alkali metal in liquid ammonia. The blue color is highly conducting due to the presence of ammoniated electrons and ammoniated cation. The blue color solution is highly conducting due to the presence of ammoniated electrons only, due to the presence of ammoniated cations only, and the blue colored solution, this is paramagnetic due to the presence of unpaired electrons in the cavities in the ammonical solution. So that are the 3 questions that you people have to answer, and I am going to wait for your answers because that is only what will be giving me how much you have learned from this lecture. So that would be all for this lecture. The next lecture we are going to again talk about a very important concept, and that is going to be the characteristics of the salts of oxo acids with the alkali metals. So again, a very important discussion coming up, very importantly questions coming up from that topic. So please be with me for that, and please, unless you do subscribe to the channel, you will not be getting the notifications. So do subscribe to the channel. If you're liking it, please do give it a thumbs up. If you're not liking it, give it a thumbs down so that I also can improve further if there are some deficiencies on our part. You can also put that in the comment section, and if you're liking, please do share with your friends so that the knowledge can spread further. So see you again. Have a nice day. God bless you.